Hare Krishna.
He knows everything.
So thank you very much for coming today
Must have some sanskar coming.
in our Saturday satsang program. So now we will move to the next part where we have a presentation on authentic leadership, which is inspired by Vedic principles. Silence. Yeah. I request everyone to keep silence. So, Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, yat kripa tamham vande Shri Guru Deen. Thank you, and you can also hear. So, I'm very happy that all of you are here today. Such a nice association of devotees. So today we are going to discuss about authentic leadership that is inspired by Vedic principles. You know, many times it happens that we say, what is the use of these scriptures? You know, how is it beneficial for us in today's context, today's lifestyle, in professional life or personal life? So we are going to present how it is relevant in the world of leadership. And you require leaders everywhere, whether it's job, whether you are working at Amazon or Microsoft or PayPal, or whether you are a householder, you know, you have children, you have family members. So everywhere you require leadership, as well as self-leadership, right? So it starts with yourself, then family, then society, and to the country as well. So these principles which we are going to share are inspired from Ramayana, Mahabharat and our scriptures. How they exemplify the characters which lead a life full of honesty, integrity, and a leadership style which is followed till now, thousands of years, you know, after they have come to this planet Earth and depicted their lifestyle to us. So I'm very happy to share with me my friend Kunal. You know, he's going to speak today. So he has worked in Meta, which is Facebook, and Microsoft. He was an engineering manager, and I think he has around more than 15 years of experience. So, but before that, I will also like to introduce myself. So, I'm Gaura. I'm currently working for PayPal, and I like reading scriptures, and I like to see how it relates to our day-to-day life. You know, how we can use it to make our life more better, more happier, and more successful. Right? Everybody wants to be successful in today's world. So I'll hand over to Kunal. So he will also give a short introduction of himself, and then we'll continue. Kunal, over to you.
So can you guys hear me from this microphone? Yes. So it's a pleasure to see so many faces out here. Like Gaurav said, we would like to give you some insight into what leadership could be and how it is inspired from the Vedic principles. So like Gaurav mentioned, I have roughly close to 20 years of experience in the software industry. I've worked with Microsoft for roughly 14 years and then with Meta for another 3 years as an IC as well as an engineering manager. And before I begin the slides, I wanted to check with you all, right? When you think of authentic leadership or leadership, what are the names of some people that come to your mind? I would love to make this an interactive session, so if you guys could share thoughts. Any people that come to your mind? Modi, that's very good. Anyone else?
Priyanka, Abhinav, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Both very good leaders. Anyone else? Sundar Pichai.
Priyanka works for Amazon.
No, I
Nice.
uh,
Andy Jassy, probably.
no, can you work with the microphone?
I'm sorry, did I any other names before I heard something in the background, but maybe.
Oh, Tapas Prabhu, was it you?
Yes, to,
Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, that's-
Kunal,
What
can you use the microphone?
Okay. So I think he wants you to use microphone because
There are two mics. You can use the
this
green
sound
mic
is
also.
better.
The sound is better. Okay, so I will use the microphone in that case. So those were all really good leader names that you mentioned, ranging from Modi, Steve Jobs, Sundar Pichai, and even Mahatma Gandhi. So now I want you guys to kind of keep that in mind, and let's move on. And we will come back. We will circle back to what qualities these leaders present. So, in my mind, from my experience, when you think of authentic leaders, they would tend to put people first. And you'll see out there I have 3 arrows showing people, mission, and results. And the few traits they will demonstrate is putting people first. I think for some reason the screen went off. I don't know what happened there. Please give us a minute. So it looks like there was a power glitch, but it'll restart. Okay.
Tapas Prabhu, what is sharing? Is it the slide or something else? Tapas Prabhu? Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mukunda. Okay. Oh, I see.
All right, so we'll continue. Thanks, Gaura, for fixing that. So I'm actually going to go deeper into these 3 areas: people, mission, and results. And these 3 things are probably the pillars that make up an authentic leader. And to elaborate more, I'm going to go to the next slide. Give me a second.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We
you,
have a
Mukunda.
little Mukunda, who's also our tech guy out here. Thank you, Mukunda, for fixing things. So, so what does putting people first mean? And is it really, why is it needed for a leader? I want to ask some questions like, can you get anything achieved today, any initiative, if people are not with you? No, right? What happens if you have a great vision, great execution, but no people supporting you? Things fall flat. And so putting people first is one of the most important things that an authentic leader can bring to the table, which is building trust, empowering people, inspiring them, and investing them for the long run. And I'll give you a personal example of what I mean by this. Something that I encountered at Meta about a couple of years ago. So I had an engineer, a senior engineer on my team, I'll use first names, Chris, who had a family issue. His wife was undergoing some trouble, eye trouble, and at a very young age she had developed cataract and glaucoma. And so now Chris came to me, a very, very high-performing engineer, but he comes to me, he's like, Kunal, I need to take a couple of months off to take care of my wife. She needs to have a surgery. We might need to go back to our home country. And so at this point, the leaders could have a couple of things, right? I mean, Chris was probably 33% of my team's capacity at that time, because I had 3 people working on an initiative. So losing that would mean I was going to lose 33% of my capacity. But at that time, I trusted him, he being a strong engineer, he requiring his families. My principle was like, family comes first, everything later. And at that point, he took 2 months off. And he didn't have to worry about anything during that time. So the operation went well, the surgery went well. Now when Chris comes back, he was performing automatically without me saying anything at twice his potential. And so those 2 months that may have lost, like for a leader, they might say, like, I lost 2 months on an initiative. But when he came back, his potential had doubled, and he delivered probably much more than what he would have in a regular 6-month thing. So this is a personal experience that I wanted to share with you guys. I'll hand over to Gaurav now, because he's going to talk a little bit more about how this plays in the scriptures. Actually, there's some quotes as well that I wanted you guys to look at. You could take a quick look at it and read it.
Can you see at the back what's written? No, we can probably read it maybe.
Yeah, so
Hi, Gaura, that light should be on also.
This one?
Over your head.
Okay, yeah. Mukunda, can you?
And you can turn this one off.
Okay. So
Okay.
Steve Jobs says it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people so that they can tell us what to do.
correct.
Right? So
Satya said that listening was one of the most important things that he learned as a leader, and that was the foundation of his leadership.
Indira Nooyi, PepsiCo, right?
Yes,
She says
PepsiCo.
leadership is hard to define and good leadership even harder. But if you can get people to follow you to the ends of the earth, you are a great leader.
Yeah. And as you see Bill Gates, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders are those who empower others. So they're not the people who put them first or their initiatives first, but leaders are those people who are actually going ahead and empowering other people to do their best.
So now we'll see from the scriptures how this leadership principle is so important. So as Kunal was mentioning, in today's world there is a lot of hate and discrimination, right? People try to discriminate on the basis of their caste, their creed, their color. Whether you are from India or America or Russia or Japan, people try to discriminate you. Or even, you are black, white or yellow or green, based on your color, there is still so much discrimination and hate. But Bhagavad Gita is giving this leadership principle, which if you apply in your team, in your personal life, in your family life, in your professional life, you will be very successful. And it is based on the divine force, the sacredness of life that is within all of us. Right? We should respect each and every living entity. Forget about human beings. It goes to respect even the dogs, the elephants. A learned person, a great leader, what he does is, he sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog and a dog eater. So this is a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshinaha. So that is a great leader. That is a truly learned person. If you are trying to discriminate, oh, this person is good, this is bad, this is from this category, that category is from north, is from south or east or west, how can you be a good leader? We have to bring out the best, see the potential in everybody and bring out the best in them. Next.
Thanks, Gaurav. There's another slide that you have out here.
Yeah, one of the leaders of is Lord Ramachandra, right? So Lord Ramachandra, what he would do is, he would actually, as a king, open his court to meet all the citizens or whoever requires his attention, from a sweeper to a minister. He wouldn't say, oh, you are a sweeper, I don't want to meet you, I'll only meet the ministers. No. He'll discuss their problems, solve them, because he saw everyone equally. He saw that part and parcel of that divine consciousness, that life force within everybody. He respected that. Because all of us are soul, which is part and parcel of the super soul of Krishna, of Ram. Right? We have that spark, just like sun and sun ray. A sun ray is a spark of the sun. So one sun ray doesn't tell another sun ray, I am better than you. Or I should get more respect than you, and and try to put other down. No. How will the sun feel? Sun won't feel happy, because God is our Param Pita. He wants to see all the children together. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Sarve Sukhenu Bhavantu. Let everybody be happy. Yes.
Thanks, Gaurav.
And one other story, beautiful story, comes in Mahabharat. How many of you have seen Mahabharat? At least B.R. Chopra, Mahabharat, right? That is all the train used to stop and there was curfew in the city when Mahabharat would be there, right? We used to watch when we were children. So Mahabharat, can anyone remember this episode? Can anyone guess what's happening here? Can you close the door?
He will not use the weapon in the war, but
Yes. Yeah. The reason you are able to tell this because your name is Krishna Murthy. So he is Krishna Murthy. I just moved to San Diego. So yes, you are right. So this is when Bhishma Pitama, he's such a powerful personality. He was about to defeat Arjuna, the greatest devotee and friend of Krishna. But Krishna, who is so Bhaktavatsal, he is such a great leader that he takes care of all his citizens, all his friends and everybody, that he broke his vow. As we know, Krishna took a vow that either, he will give his whole army to Duryodhan, or he will be on one side. So Arjuna took him, and Krishna said, I will not fight, right? That is the vow he took. But to save Arjuna, because he was about to die, he took off the wheel of the chariot and charged toward Bhishma, just like a tiger charges towards an elephant. Right? And therefore, Krishna tells that, O son of Kunti, which is Arjuna, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. He is saying, you are my devotee, declare to everybody that you will not perish. I will take care of you. So Krishna is such a leader that in times of crisis, in times of difficulty, which is when the leader is required the most. There are so many leaders which come to you when times are very good, when things are going on, right? They will show their face, take all the appreciation and praises. But when there is challenges, they run away. But Krishna is there. Like Kunal was telling, the teammate was facing difficult situations, so he stood up. Right? So similarly, we have to stand up for our dependents in these situations to be a good leader. So Krishna is depicting this leadership quality here.
Yeah. Thanks, Gaurav. And I think the takeaway for this subsection about people is that a lot of leaders today, they'll get direction from their leadership that I want results, I want value, I want more monetary value in the corporate world, right? But for the leader, when that is getting that request, they're not going to succeed unless they have people with them. And for that, building the trust, building the connections, genuinely investing in them, protecting them, caring for them, coaching them is what's really going to set the foundation for what comes next in leadership. So I'll go to the next slide here. And this is about mission. So we finished people, which is one of the foundational pieces of leadership. But mission is not just a close second. I would say it's almost like another foundational pillar that makes up a leader. And I think I have a few steps out here, but like Gaurav just mentioned right now, a leader, when things are going well, what is the job of a leader? Is there any job that a leader really has to play when things are going well? I mean, things are hunky-dory, things are going well. I mean, not much to do, right? But when there's uncertainty, a crisis, that's when a leader really needs to step up. Because that's the point where everyone are confused. People are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to take this team forward. And leader is who steps up at that time, defines a vision for the team, shows them a future. Like, hey, this is where we are going. This is the vision. We need to go there. Assigns everyone a purpose so that they know what they need to go after. A mission that makes everyone feel connected to what they are pursuing. And then rallies everyone behind the cause. So you'll see there are three simple steps out here with the mission, which is stepping up during uncertainty, clarifying what we are trying to achieve, which is the vision and the mission, and then motivating people to get there. I'm going to show you guys a simple picture out here, and I want to make this interactive. What do you guys see when you look at this ship?
It's a sinking ship, it's in a extreme situation.
Sinking ship, yes, extreme situation. What else? Trying to sail through the tides, the really big tides. Anything else? Do you guys see something? Do you guys see some people climbing out there?
Yeah.
What does that depict in your mind? Anyone can say? They are trying to escape the crisis, probably save themselves. That could be another way to view it. but yeah, like for the purpose of this discussion, you know, most likely they're trying to escape the situation. Where is the captain of the ship? Do you see him or her? Where's the captain? In his cabin, maybe, right? I think this is what is really a very interesting picture. I think what it depicts is there was an uncertainty, a crisis, and the captain's nowhere to be found. What is everyone going to do at such times? They're going to be for themselves. I'm like, hey, I need to save myself. There is no unity. No one knows what they're doing. Everyone's climbing poles, probably trying to get to the highest point of the ship so that the last wave catches them. But what would a real leader do? Before I get to that, do you know, I want to ask a question. Does anyone know how does a ship get through a storm? What is the thing that a ship needs to do in order to get through a storm?
Just stay there until the storm passes.
Maybe that's one thing.
It has to ride the wave, which means the front end of the ship should always be up.
Front end should be, I think you're on the right path. So if you read what a ship needs to do is, it needs to take its bow into the biggest wave. It needs to go into that wave and cut through it. Because if a wave hits the ship sideways, the ship is going to topple. So the main mission of everyone is to make sure the ship's front, the bow of the ship, is towards the biggest wave that's coming to the ship. That is the way a ship can get through a storm. Now, it's not always possible. There are lots of waves coming. But if a ship does that sufficient number of times, there's a good chance the ship might get out. And who's going to do that if everyone's just climbing around? Like, if the captain doesn't give the instructions to everyone that we need to move the ship someplace, the ship is just going to float around. A wave might come from the side and topple it. So I just wanted to share this. And Gaurav, did you have something to say? Or leave it on the slide? Okay. And now I think Gaurav is going to add some more. Yeah, but I wanted to share this because this really talks about situations when a leader needs to step up and get their crew together and move in the right direction. And if a good captain at such times would rally everyone, if he had the trust of people, he would be like, hey, we're going to get through this. Like the first step, it's like, we're going to get through this, showing them the vision. Then telling everyone like, hey, let's make sure the bow of the ship is towards this wave or this wave. That's where the winds are coming from. Let's go into that and then get through it. But that would only be possible if a leader steps up during uncertainty and assigns a mission to everyone so that they work as a unit. Thanks, Gaurav. Do you want to take it forward?
Yeah. So this principle of leadership in terms of mission and clarity is depicted by Lord Ram and Krishna, you know. So apparently there may be so many questions. We may feel, oh, why is Krishna dancing with so many gopis? Why did Lord Ramachandra banish his wife? Right? It looks like apparently that their mission is not clear, their vision is not clear, they are confused, they are doing wrong things. But do we know why they did what they did? We do not know. Right? If we read the scriptures, we read the Bhagavad Purana, it describes about the gopis. These are the sages of Dandakaranya forest, in Ramayana. And why did Lord Ram banish Sita? There are so many reasons for that. So, if we do not understand anything, we question the leader, we do not understand, we will not be able to follow. But these are the leaders who have clear mission, and through their example, they have exemplified how to lead life in these difficult situations. And through their example, they have told that a teacher is so important, their guru is so important, like Kunal was saying that the captain is missing. So Krishna, although he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he accepted his guru as Sandipani Muni. Lord Ramachandra accepted Vashisht Muni. He is given an example that in your life you need a guru, you need a teacher in every sphere of life, wherever we are, right? In our companies, we hire people, there are mentors, there are buddies, right? Wherever you go, we learn music, we need a music teacher, so we need someone. So that is a example that for a mission we need to have someone who can give us clarity, we can have a discussion, who thinks beyond what we can think. So in Srimad Bhagavatam I want to share a beautiful verse which says that a spiritual master, a guru, is the captain of the boat. And the human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature, although it is very, very rare achievement. The human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat. So this body is considered like a boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds impelling on its course. So all these instructions we have, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all the Puranas, Vedas, these are like the winds which are pushing the boat, this human body, towards its goal. Right? And spiritual master is giving the direction, just like a GPS. When you come to the temple, you put some address, right? If you take a wrong exit, it will recalculate and tell you where to go. Each one of us have missed the exits in life, right? So it doesn't mean that we should just stand there and say, oh, I missed the exit, I shouldn't go there. It means we should recalibrate and go ahead. In life, yes, there may be failures, there may be challenges, there are difficulties, but we have to go beyond that and keep our goal focused. We have to keep moving towards our goal. And the scripture says that considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize this human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. Yes, we are in this life, we are taking care of our families, we are doing our jobs and everything, but what is the real purpose of our life? We should ask that question. That is the first question. Why am I here? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? So all those questions are very, very important to be asked. Like Badrinath Maharaj was telling one day that, yes, we all do jobs, we go to Walmart, get our grocery. Even that is difficult in today's life, right? But beyond that, yes, why are we here? We should ask that question. That is the beginning point of spirituality. Yes. And one beautiful example from Mahabharata is that Arjuna lost the vision or the mission. What should I do in life? He just put down his Gandiva bow. Hairs were standing on his hand. He was crying. He didn't know what to do. Right? And he says to Krishna, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yachreyasyanischitam bruhi tanme shishyaste aham shadimam tvam prapannam. O my Lord, I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am a disciple and a soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. So through this example, Arjuna is actually representing all of us. Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that we are in the same situation as Arjuna. Every day we are facing challenges. So he's surrendering to Krishna and listening to the instructions of Krishna to get more clarity what to do next in life. So that is a true leader. So Krishna spoke the entire Bhagavad Gita. Right? Even after speaking, Krishna did not say that, oh, you should follow this. He said, Karishye vachanam tava. Now whatever you think is right, you should do. He still gave that free will and independence to Arjuna. That is a true leader.
Thanks, Gaura, for tying that so well in the vision and the mission thing. And this just kind of really ratifies like why the vision and the mission is so important for a lost engineer or lost individual contributor or lost soul like all of us in our lives. So let's move on to the final thing. Now, everyone's looking for results in the corporate world. Your CEO is looking for results, your investors are looking for results. Everyone's like, where are the results? How is the stock market? How is your stock doing? Where is the revenue coming from? But I want to re-emphasize that if a leader does not focus on the people and does not focus on the mission or the vision, there are not going to be any results. And that's why results, although that's the expectation from the leader, that is one of the last things that the leader should focus on from the perspective of people first, vision second, mission second, and then results will follow. But even getting results is not easy, right? Because you could still have people with you, you could have a good vision, but results are not coming. And for that, one of the most important things is execution and the ability to churn the crank wheel. Constantly invest, prioritize, and execute. And what does this mean, right? It means that if you have a plan which is good, you just don't sit back and say like, hey, I have a great plan, everything should fall in place. It's not true. Are there any folks out here who've experienced like a situation where you had a great plan, but since the execution was not good, timelines kept missing, deadlines were missed, and we didn't really have a product? Does anyone have an experience to share like that? Where everything was good, people were good, mission was good, but execution did not happen and something fell through.
Maybe Rajesh.
No? I think someone, were you raising your hand?
Well, I have plenty of examples, but I'd be embarrassed to share this with you. Let's just say, for purpose's sake of case here, that yeah, there were plans, there were people, and it was other people who messed it up. So let's leave it at that.
Exactly.
Call
And-
it what to do, right?
And you know, the other people thing happens a lot in corporates, right? It was other people who messed it up. I'm not saying it happens, truly it happens, but a true leader, again, I do want to emphasize on this. In true leadership, there is no other people and our people. It's very interesting, I think, and this is something that will come up where taking ownership of the problem at heart as a whole and executing through the problem, even if it was caused by other people, is something that is truly going to elevate a leader, because they're going to work with their partners, not blame them. Finger pointing sometimes is very easy to, just get away from like, hey, I did my part. You could say that, but a true leader would step up and say like, hey, I did my part, but maybe I can do more. Maybe I can convince my partner or understand why they aren't doing their part. And that execution actually plays a role in that as well, to work through your partners to really get the outcome.
It's okay, right? You don't want that.
But it is a good example. Like if what may have happened in that situation is the other people did not have a good plan and it fell apart. Things fell apart. So thanks for sharing that example. And I'm going to go forward now to hand it over to Gaurav.
Yeah, so while we were talking about the results, it is very important that the leader always exemplifies himself till the end of the task that has been assigned or it is executed. So this is a very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita which talks about such leaders. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So very famous verse, Yat yad acharati shreshthas tattad evetaro jana sa yat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. So it might happen that leader is, there in the beginning of the task that it has started, and he just doesn't follow up in between or doesn't takes it by heart. No, to get good results, a leader is always active. He's always leading by example with his honesty, with his integrity, with his character. There are a lot of leaders who will speak, you should do like this, you should do like that. But what will happen? He will not exemplify them, or she will not exemplify them, right? They will do something else in their character. So today's world, the biggest need is for exemplary people who lead by their character. There are three very important things. One is character, another is health, and third is wealth. So nowadays, generally what should be there? First should be character, then health, and then wealth. But nowadays, in Kali Yuga, everything is reversed. Now people put wealth on top. Health is still there. Everybody is careful about their health, and character is at the bottom. Nobody cares for character. I just want to earn, and with greed, with selfish greed, with arrogance, and trying to hurt others. Don't care about other people. No value of character. So that is a leader. By his example, he will lead. And since Kunal talked about the results, so we can see the war of Mahabharat, the war of Ramayana, both of them started with leadership which was honest and full of integrity. Krishna went to Duryodhan as a peacemaker. He said, we do not want to fight. These are Kshatriya people. Just give them 5 villages. But what did Duryodhan say? Duryodhan said, I will not give enough land that can fit the tip of a needle. That's really rude, right? So at the end, what happened? Krishna and Arjuna, who had smaller army than Duryodhan. Krishna had either Narayani Sena, which was 7 Akshauhini, and Duryodhan has 11 Akshauhini. He has bigger Sena. But the soldiers of Arjuna's army were very much inspired, very much enthused, because they knew we are fighting for dharma. And finally, there is victory of dharma. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I come to establish religion. Wherever there is dharma, there is victory. Where there is piousness, there is happiness. That is there. And then also in Ramayana, we see what did Ravan do? Ravana was such a great, Brahmin. He was so learned. He had everything. He had such a chaste wife, Mandodari. He had a palace made of gold. He had everything that we can actually imagine to attain in our lives. And his brother Kumbhakaran, he said, hey, my dear brother, why did you kidnap somebody else's wife without fighting? You have cheated Lord Ram. You have deceived him. If you are a true warrior, you should have fought and got Sita, but you cheated him. And he said, but since I am your brother, I will help you. So he basically happily insulted him. And we know in the end what happened. All the Vanar Sena, although, Vanars don't have like big javelins or bow and arrow and all these things. These monkeys, they just throw the stones or fight with their claws. But they were so enthused because they were on the side of righteousness. They were on the side of religion. They were on the side of dharma, of truth, integrity. And they were fighting with so much vigor that they killed all the Rakshas Sena of Ravana. And Ravana didn't care about his people. As the Rakshas were dying, what he used to do is, he used to throw them all into the ocean. So that other soldiers do not get demotivated that, oh, so many of our friends are dying. But Lord Ram didn't do that. He said, we are going to do proper rites, last rites, rituals for them. We are not going to mistreat them. And he had medicine and everything, so people were recovering and all those things. So this is a true leader. So at the end we see the result here is, if you are starting on the right path, starting from people, mission, then you are victorious. So similarly Krishna says in the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, so you can chant with me, I'll say one line, you can repeat. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna,
Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna,
Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara,
Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara,
Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti,
Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti,
Dhruva Niti Matir Mama.
Dhuvadhiti Madhirdhama.
Yatra Yogeshwar Krishna. Yatra Yogeshwar is Krishna. Wherever there is Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. Wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. All of us want this, right? We want opulence, we want victory, we want power and morality. So if Krishna is with us, we will get all of them. That is my opinion. This Sanjay is saying, the Bhagavad Gita, when he is seeing with his vision and telling to Dhritarashtra. So that is the truth. It is depicted in all the scriptures, and Srila Prabhupada has actually exemplified it. He started from India with just 40 rupees on a cargo ship. He reached America in 35 days, right? But he established 108 temples, which were worth 40 crore rupees in 12 years. It is all by the grace of Krishna, by the power of chanting of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and his sincerity and love for Krishna. That so many people, even in Western world, took up to the Krishna consciousness movement. Just by chanting, eating prasadam, reading the books, worshipping the deities, Shri Shri Radha Giridhari. So that is true leadership. That is the result of focusing on these principles.
Thank you, Gaura, for tying both Ramayana and Mahabharata so well in this. Now, I'd like to conclude again with the three principles we started that makes a true, authentic leader. People, mission, and results. In that order, make sure you have the people, the trust of the people, you're investing in people. Make sure you have a clear vision and mission, and then rally the people behind that, and the results will follow. So, at the beginning, before we started, I had asked a question to everyone, which is like, what are the good, few names you can think of for leaders, of true, authentic leaders? And I got a few names. One was, I think, can you remind me what the names were? Of the leaders? Steve Jobs, Modi, MS Dhoni. I think we heard Abdul Kalam. Now, when you think of these leaders again, do you think they had people with them? Do you think they had the support of people, the trust of people? Yes, they did, right? They were people's leaders. They were all. If you look at them, look at Modi, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a great vision, but he also had people with him. But
Even
Modi,
even
all
Krishna
about
and Ram, you can also think about them.
Krishna and Ram, of course. Like, think of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Like, they were strong leaders for people, right? And that's what started the support of people, the mission, and the results that followed. So, thank you, everyone. And I wanted to kind of open it up for some questions. Me and Gaurav would be happy to take any questions.
I also want you to think of Srila Prabhupada as the leader who established, so many centers with Govinda's restaurants for prasadam and farm communities and educational institutes. So he's also a great leader who depicted so many followers he had, so many people who appreciated him.
Yeah.
We should be very grateful and take advantage of these temples, these programs, and make our life successful, to ourselves become true leaders, right? With their leadership principles.
Cool. Any questions about the talk, about anything, like about leadership in general? Any problems you all have encountered that you want to chat about?
Or what did you like in the session? Which area did you like? Yeah.
Can I just, because I don't want just to slip out of my mind, so I'll...
Yeah, take the mic.
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. Let me just.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I would like to just bring this into the foreground, the fact that there was a very high divine element with Prabhupada. Which we should greatly emulate in our own course of leadership. The reason why I'm saying this is Prabhupada, actually there was a magic in him. Like when he was on the boat, he had this heart attacks. It didn't matter to him at all. It was not his 40 rupees that really, because the people are like around the world in $8 and things like that. People have proved it without so much of Krishna's presence. Whereas him, with the 2 heart attacks, anything, nothing, okay, fine, today I have a heart attack, tomorrow I'll just get up, sit in the boat again, and then be happy, go there to America and do my job. This is the course of true leadership if you are in the Vaishnava order. Do not forget that Krishna is there, and in our hearts, if we have Krishna, because ours is a very small force, a strength and as a soul force, whereas Krishna is Paramatma and he is such a big force, he's sitting on top. The more faith we have, the more impetus it gives us to push forward and accomplish our goals. And no matter how small or how big it is in life that our goals are, because each one of us comes with some predestined goals, I believe, as a soul contract with Krishna himself, and therefore with his support and guidance we will definitely be able to accomplish whatever that we set out for. Particularly if we remember Prabhupada as our guide and guru, I am pretty sure we will be able to do whatever our soul contract is and finish our job. And the bewilderment as to why am I here, what is life and things like that will really not bother us anymore. Most people will have those questions, and it is very important. Atato Brahma Jignasa is the first Brahma Sutra. So we will be able to do that with Krishna. That's it, and nothing more.
Yes, very well said.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mataji. No, it was great. Thank you so much.
If not, then we'll move to next part of Prashadam. So now we'll have Prashad. And 8:15 there is a Darshan Aarti, and then there would be Kirtan. Not Darshan Aarti, last Shayan Aarti. And then, so now we'll have Prashadam.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Another question about righteousness. Yeah. Gaurav, do you want to answer that? So I think the question was, in this day and age, how do you know?
Yeah, while
what
I'm
is
answering, can
righteous?
someone help get the Prashadam plates here? We can bring the Prashadam plates here, and you can honor here or outside. And 8:15 because there is darshan. Yeah, bro, what is the question?
The question was, in this day and age.
The question was,
go ahead.
in this day and age, how do you identify righteousness? It's so gray, right?
Yeah.
I mean, without the guidance of a spiritual master, any day-to-day life, you encounter lots of things, or human situations, and people are right in their own ways, but you don't get to decide, what's the true course of righteousness.
No, I was just telling Kinisha to be quiet, but it's why don't you do you have an answer for that, Gaurav?
So, yeah, I know it is very difficult nowadays because whatever is right from the scriptural point of view, today people think it is wrong. And whatever is wrong from scriptures is considered right today, right? So there is a big confusion. And in life, therefore, what happens is that things that are significant, we take them as insignificant, right? And we do not invest that time and energy on that. And what are insignificant, we spend so much time on that we forget what is significant for us. So the basic principle is, like you said, we should have a captain, right? In life, someone, if we do not have a guru, then we can have Siksha gurus. We can have someone whom we trust, whom we have faith. We can discuss with them openly. And secondly, we read the scriptures. We hear from Krishna. Krishna is the Param Guru, right? So we read Bhagavad Gita. We hear Krishna's instruction. And then we analyze it, discuss with like-minded people. And because Bhagavad Gita has answers to all the questions. Our scriptures has answer to all the questions. And yes, how we apply in today's life, we have to talk with seniors, people who are living life following those principles, how to apply that, right? Because if you just read it, yes, you may understand, but it's always good to discuss. So 3 things you can do: Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. 3 things. Huh? Even us, yeah, exactly. Even that.
Those qualities are discussed in nectar devotion.
Yeah. So, yeah. here is the place. You should come here. Saturday, Sunday, kirtans, programs, and I know Prabhu serves very nicely on Sundays in that kitchen. Avik Prabhu. So definitely Krishna will guide him and show him the right path.
So since he asked a question, now I want to ask a question.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Let me figure out how to phrase this. The focus tends to be on the Brahminical class, right? But in the past, the Kshatriyas were, advised by the Brahminical class. So at what point, how do we develop strong leaders, pious, Kshatriya, class devotees, with the intention to, be supported by the Brahminical class? How does that work in our modern, movement? I haven't really heard much discussion on the Kshatriya class and how that is to be incorporated within the Krishna consciousness movement. Because Prabhupada is stated as we're trying to develop young men and women into the Brahminical class. So how does that fit in with the Kshatriya class?
Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the example that whether we are Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, right? We are Krishna's servant. That is our true constitutional position. That is a Swadharma, right? So whoever we are, whatever job occupation we are doing, if we continue to do that, at the same time we remember Krishna, then our life is successful. So in Krishna consciousness movement also, if you see, there were a lot of Kshatriyas also, like people are in administrative class, right? They are in politics and so many other places. So yeah, if they are devotees, then their life is successful. So it depends on your interest, what your interest is, right? So Prabhupada is mentioning Brahminical thing because it's one of the highest levels, but it doesn't mean that one thing is lower than the other, right? So even a Kshatriya or a Shudra, if by quality they can serve Krishna, they can take initiation first, second, they can go to the altar and they can become Brahmins, right? So it's by the qualities, it's not by the birth or by any other criteria. So yeah, so that's what.
So what is the training look like? Is there differences between the training of the Brahminical class and the Kshatriya class? Even though we're both, generally speaking, we would all come and worship in the same manner and,
right.
and provide seva in the same manner and stuff like this. Sadhana.
If you go to Ayurvedic conference, they will talk about Ayurveda. They won't talk about allopathy, right? So similarly, this institution is about Bhakti Yoga. So we'll always talk about Bhakti of Brahminical culture. But that doesn't mean that other, ashrams or varnas are not relevant or not important. You can still be a Kshatriya and become a Brahmin. So whoever is providing, there are different institutes which provide Kshatriya training, right? So someone can do the training there and be at the same time be a Brahmin.
Can you provide an example of these institutions that you're...
Like Bhishma Pitama. He was Ganga Putra, right? He was a Brahman, but he was a great warrior. He was a Kshatriya. And so many kings in the past, like Parikshit Maharaj, they were like called Raj Rishis. They were Raja, they were kings, at the same time they were Rishis. They had spiritual knowledge as well as they were expert in warfare, in archery, artillery, and so many different skills. Arjuna, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were Kshatriyas, but he was a devotee of Krishna. So, Pandavas, these are Kshatriyas only. Such a great big example in Mahabharat.
and Krishna was also a Kshatriya.
Krishna was Yadav from Yadu Vansh. Yeah, so he was from the Moon dynasty, which is Krishna Chandra. So, Krishna is born in a family of Yadus. Yadus basically they have cows, and so yeah, that is more of a, not a Kshatriya, it was more of a, I would say, Vaishya family.
Okay.
Mercantile. They are Kshatriyas, yeah. Yeah, but God is beyond all these categorizations, right?
Yeah.
He is beyond all these varnas and ashrams or aloof of this mode of goodness, passion or ignorance. These things cannot touch Krishna.
Right.
Krishna is transcendental. So,
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
a lot.
Mataji.
Really